What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy C-Dub, aka Whit, coming at you guys with another California bicycle racing category 4 video with commentary. And as you see, we are on the way. So, again, this particular day, your boy did 3 races, and this is the second of 3 races. And yeah, so we're currently right now sitting behind Steve, and I also have Ivan to my left right there as we are going through turn number 1. To add to this video on today, your boy is sitting at 731 subscribers, and I asked that if you are watching this video, help me to understand down in the comment section below, if you can, why people do not subscribe. But I asked if you are willing to subscribe that you would hit that red subscribe button or hover over my logo in the bottom right. And I ask, as I sit on Brandon's wheel, that you would subscribe to the Crit Wit Roadrunner family. And I'm looking forward to you joining the family. So thank you for your subscription. Thank you for setting the notifications. And I ask that since you have subscribed to this family, enjoy yourself, because I truly am enjoying this journey. So currently sitting on Brandon's wheel of a factory built, and I have Dakota on my rear wheel as we come up this 5%, 3 to 5% climb. And so right now the race is just getting started. If you haven't already seen the first race of this day, the category 4-5, you saw there that I had got dropped and was shortly thereafter pulled from the race. But due to it being the category 4-5, I was blessed to get 17th place of like 23 riders. So I'm recovered from that heartache of a race, from being cold. And now, as you see, if you're watching this after watching that one, you see that it's still just a little bit wet, but the sky is blue up there and a little bit of clouds, but it's not currently raining as it was in the first race of the day. So currently, again, sitting on Brandon's wheel, whom he is behind Vega, and you see here Dakota coming underneath. So I jump on Dakota's wheel, and we are making our way up because there's a little bit of a gap in front of Vega, and Vega rides with Serious Cycling. So we're making our way up. I'm just sitting on Dakota's wheel right here, and Dakota is punchy, and that's one thing I've noticed about him. He hunkers down really well in his cockpit or the saddle area, and he is able to just bolt up like Flash. And so right there is Dorian of I believe it's IMR Racing, and him and Gamma Laura, who is the race leader. He is their teammates. So right here I jump on I can't remember this guy's name. I'm sorry, everybody. I wrote down numbers, forgot to look at names. So this is going to make for an interesting video. So just pray for me. Once again, I have forgotten to get the names down. I wrote down all everybody's numbers, but forgot to get their names. So please forgive me. But I'm just excited to get these videos up and keep you guys entertained. So right now I'm hunkered in behind this guy right here, and we're making our way through turn number 4 on our way to the start finish again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I had to take a quick intermission and get the names to the racers here. So I'm happy now, and hopefully everything will go swell on this video. So please forgive me for that. So as again, you see I have Dakota behind me, and you actually have Peter Verth was behind him now coming underneath me. So that's Peter Verth right there in the green jersey. 419 was Jared. So was currently sitting on Jared's wheel there with had the blue kit on. And so here we have Hector. So Hector comes underneath me, and I jump on Hector's wheel. And Hector made this race very interesting. And yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. So right now you have Hector sitting behind Dorian. Dorian is sitting behind Peter Verth, who is the most active racer. And you also see in my rear view camera there, we have Gamma Laura, who is in the gold jersey, which is the current race leader. He is sitting on my wheel, and you have Isaac coming underneath with VELO Pasadena right there, going underneath into the turn. So right now Gamma comes underneath me, so I jump on his wheel, again with Jared to my left and Dakota sitting behind me. So right now, just staying with all the hitters. So Jared is riding with Ice Speed Racing, and so we're just making our way up this 3 to 5% climb. And this thing does tax, as you see here, hitting over 600 watts, finishing up this climb, 172 beats per minute, going 23 miles an hour, cadence of 82. And so right now, again, we're coming through turn number 4, and we're just pressing our way. And so there you have Dakota, not Dakota, but you have Dorian, and you have Gamma, you have Isaac, you have Jared. You know, we got a lot of guys sitting right here. We got Dakota on my rear tire, and we got 406, which is Giovanni, which just came over the top of me right there with the white jersey, black bibs. And so we're all kind of tucked in here, and we're making our way. And that's Nate right there, number 418 with big orange. And Nate, that's not his full first name, but I'm going to shorten that up for explanation purposes. So please don't be mad at me, Nate, for messing up your name in this video. So right now we are making our way. This video is set to be just over 27 minutes. So I ask that if you are not on a workout machine, that you would get comfortable in your recliner, on your couch, in your office chair, and enjoy this video with your boy seat up. And so there, right in front of Jared, there is Brandon Sanchez, again of Big Orange. So we had a few different teams here represented really well. And I'm happy that the sun's out, because as we all say, sun's out, guns out. 402 that just came over the top of me right here with the black kid riding the Bianchi bike. That is Satoshi. And so that got close between Satoshi and Jared. And so you see here, we got all these Cat 4 racers spread out all across the road. And everybody, you got guys out the saddle trying to make it up this little climb right here. And this was very interesting for me. Because early in the race, everybody is already out of their saddle. So I'm currently sitting next to Javier right here of SC VELO with the gold Allay Sprint bike, very similar to mine, and currently sitting now on the Go Fast guy, which is Jacob. So Jacob right here, Go Fast in the purple kit, and I kind of like their kits because they stand out. A lot of people are wearing blue kits, red kits, different color kits, but some of the colors we find to be similar across the different teams. But Go Fast did something very unique, coming out with a color of royalty. And I like how they did that. It really sticks out, and you can pick them out in a pack. So currently right now, again, sitting on Jacob's wheel as we're going. I have Brandon sitting on my wheel right now. Got a little bit of a gap behind me, but Brandon is not panicking because he knows it's still early in this race. And this race is going to be very interesting because of just, it's not a lot of racers. In this one, there's probably about, I think, 23 racers or something like that in this race. So again, we got Hector right here to my left. We have Gamma right there in the gold jersey. We have Steven just up the road a little bit with the red and blue Lagrange kit on. And so again, we're coming through, we just came through turn number 3, going up this 3 to 5% climb, and we're making our way. So we got Ray Vega right behind me. We have Brandon, and we have Jared sitting behind me right now as we make our way up this climb. And so you see here that the miles per hour are not too fast. We're going 20 miles per hour, and heart rate is in the 170s, but it's still decent, nothing crazy. My power is actually low right here, so we're just noodling through this turn. And as I mentioned again in the last video, I had a nice little supportive group at this particular race, CBR 6 of 7. My mom came in town from Kansas City, Missouri, and so she's really excited. She gets really motivated and pumped up for these type of events. You know, I remember her hooting and hollering for me when I played football, and now, you know, this was her first race coming to see and experiencing, and she said that she had a good old time. And so of course I wanted to do well for my mother, but today was a very interesting day. So currently we're at 9 minutes in this video, and I'm still with the group. I'm sitting behind Hector, sitting behind Jacob, as well as Gamma Laura. I have Jared just behind me, and there's a little bit of a gap behind me, and we're pressing our way. And I think the issue right here is we have a break up the road, and the break up the road is Peter Verth, which is known for attempting breakaways. It is Ivan, as well as it is Isaac. And so they had broke away possibly for a preem. And that's one thing we all have to be very mindful of, is when preems go down, whoever's up front has to be very cognizant of what the people going for those preems are doing once the preem lap is complete, because that is a great opportunity and great time for breakaways to begin and to also stick if the chemistry is good in that breakaway, or in that preem attempt. And so right now I believe there is a breakaway of 3, and so we were really trying to figure out what was going to go on, who was going to chase, who was going to work. And as you see, we're only going 19 miles an hour, and nobody really is coming over the front of us and kind of really taking the charge, you know. And so I know I have Steven right here, and I'm right now kind of behind Steven, and I know Steven's very strong. I got Gamalor right here to my right. I got Hector up here. So we got some people right here in this general vicinity, and we got I believe that is, I want to say that's Javier. Javier had a mechanical, so he was over there with VELO fix. They took care of him, and then of course he jumps back in, and then he hits it, realizing that there was a breakaway up the road. So this pulls the momentum up. We're going now 28, 27 miles an hour, and of course that doesn't last too long. As you see, everybody's sitting up on the left side over there, and so everybody's looking to see who's going to lead. We got Ray Vega right there. We got Gamma right here zigzagging across the road. We got Hector jumping on wheels. We got Steve. Everybody's looking to jump on somebody's wheel, but nobody's really looking to take the lead to really push this. So now you got Jared swinging to the right, the inside, and kind of going up the road. And so you see there around the rain, as I sit on the Ray's wheel, that Jared is going up the road. So you see to the left over there, you see Steven pushing up. You got Javier right there, and people jumping on his wheel, Hector jumping on his wheel. So now we got guys attempting to bridge over to the breakaway, but you also now have guys chasing after those individuals actually trying to bridge over. So behind me, I have Jacob, I got Gamma, as well as some other Brandon back there, as I'm sitting on Ray's wheel, and I see that we're not going too fast. So right now, I'm just kind of letting him lead me up this little climb. You see we're at 3% grade, 4% grade, going, my heart rate's at 170. Then it's like, okay, I have to either sit here and see what he's going to do and take me, or am I going to make a move and try to connect with the group in front? So here very shortly, I believe I will make a move and go and connect up. Okay, so he came out the side right here. So we catch all these guys. We see it. So I jump on Steven's wheel, and I know Steven's wheel is a great wheel to be on. So I see here he kind of puts his head down and he's pushing his way. I got Jacob behind me, and it's about to go down. So I just slipped in the previous one, but now you see a crash is coming. So check Jacob out and to go fast. So Jacob's rear tire goes out from him, and he takes out the whole back of the peloton. And so now we lose like 6 or 7 guys in the back of the peloton. And so now I'm still sitting on Steven's wheel. We got Ray right here. We got Hector behind me. And so now we're kind of, now, you know, you see the whole back of the peloton kind of gone. You got a few guys that made it through that are trying to catch up to us. And actually the previous lap in that same turn number 1, my rear tire slipped and I had just caught it. And so now we're pressing our way. So I'm sitting on Ray's wheel, and we got Steven up there trying to bridge over to, you know, a guy that's up the road, and everybody's bridging. So you see everybody's like onesie up this thing. So you see I'm sitting on Ray's wheel, you got Steven out there, and we got like individual people trying to bridge over to this 3-man breakaway. So this was what I was talking about, how I go around Ray, coming up this 3 to 5% climb, trying to reconnect with Steven, because I know that Steven's wheel is a very good wheel to be on. And now you see these guys are kind of grouping up here. So coming up on this right here is, I want to say this is Dakota. Yeah, so this is Dakota. So I come up, get on Dakota's wheel, and again, I know he's very punchy, so I sit on his wheel thinking he was going to bring me up. So I go around him, and I see we got a couple of guys up here, you know, zigzagging and trying to figure out what they're doing, while I got Hector on my wheel. And so now just trying to come up through this start finish and trying to connect with Steven and this other guy up the road. And so Hector comes underneath me, And right now, I know that I got a lot of guys behind me, and my heart rate is up to 178. So I'm getting up in the 180s, getting close to that, and it's getting very scary. So we got Dorian right here. We have some other people around me. I can't see their bib numbers right now, so I'm not 100% sure what their names are. But so you see here, I think the group has kind of reconnected a little bit. And when they came underneath me, a gap opened up. So now I'm like, okay, I need to get back connected to that. So going 28 miles an hour, 178 beats per minute, and trying to connect. And so these type of issues in the race, and this is why I said the race was going to get very interesting, because you see all these gaps. You know, we're not tight, you know, so we're all working just as hard as the next man around us. And so with all these gaps and all this finagling in this particular race, it made it very hard, especially for me, probably being the largest racer in this event, in this category. See, we got a guy here off the road, and I believe he got that fixed and then jumped back in the race. But yeah, so you see here, I'm chasing again. I'm putting out over 700 watts. My heart rate's at 174. So I get reconnected with these guys in the climb. And as I mentioned before, I do feel that I do decent, not great, nothing to really brag about, but I do decent in these small little climbs. But again, it taxes me like Uncle Sam. So it gets me really, really good. And I get tired of doing that climb. I just want to be on flat terrain sometimes. And so hitting those climbs, being not on someone's wheel and being out front in a sense, or being by myself coming up those climbs, it really was kicking my rump shaker. And so right now I'm connected back with the group, and we're pushing our way. We're going 25 miles an hour, and you see here, guys are moving all over the place. So I'm yelling at them, telling them to work together, and Hector and Dorian, they're going back and forth, and so I'm just being the big brother. And so I'm telling them just to race and just ride, and you know, just trying to tell them that, like, come on, man, like we're trying, we got a breakaway up the road. We need not to be arguing with one another. We need to be working together, and we need to be all doing our pulls so that we all can go up here. So they're still messing around. Dorian and Hector still messing around because Hector did not want to pull. And that was something I mentioned before about how Hector made it very interesting. He did not want to pull. So this guy right here, he was pulling. He flipped his elbow, number 400. So that's Matthew. So Matthew was working really well. He came up to the front. He pulled. He flipped his elbow. And of course, I'm up front again. And because I was getting on them about working together, I was like, look, I'm going to work. And I think this also helped hinder me in this race for what's to come later on in this particular race. But he flipped his elbow. I took my pull, and then I pulled out so that I wouldn't have to work up this whole climb, doing all the work and hoping that, you know, and seeing that Steven was on my wheel. So as you see, he's coming over the top of me, and we got all these guys coming over the top of me as I fall back, hoping that everybody's going to take their turn pulling and working. And so right now we're going through turn number 4, and we're just making our way through the race. And so we're pushing our way to the start finish. And again, I'm jumping on Matthew's wheel. And you see here we got Hector all the way to the far right. I don't know why he's not jumped in. So I jump on Hector's wheel because this was to encourage him to jump back in. Like, you're not going to come all the way to the back and not do any work like you haven't done this entire time. You get to the front, you pull off, and then you're not doing a 10-second pull or anything to help this whole group out. So now we're still trying to figure this thing out, and let's see what happens. So right now the group of guys has come underneath me, and I'm still on the back, and I'm hurting. As you see, I haven't jumped on Matthew's wheel. I haven't reconnected with the group, and at this point I think I'm starting to suffer just a little bit. So I finally get connected back with the guys. You see, we got Dakota sitting up. We have I believe that's Giovanni. But we see we're really not pushing anything. We're going 27, and we're going downhill right here. I have Dorian on my wheel, and we're coming through turn number 3, making our way up this climb. And again, I'm sitting on Satoshi's wheel, and he's got a bit of a gap in front of him, and so I have to go around Satoshi trying to connect back with the group. So once again in this section, like I went around Ray, had to go around Satoshi and get connected back with the group of guys going up this climb. As I come up on Brandon, and and we're just pushing. So we're working again. And this race was really just a big old mess. People are all over the place. We couldn't get, we were trying to, and this is why that 3-man breakaway really just stayed away. It stayed disconnected, and it worked out for their favor because we just couldn't get it together in the peloton. So anytime a breakaway goes off the road, the peloton really needs to get its mind right, or a chase group needs to really get together and really hunker in and start chasing after that breakaway if they want to place in the top 3, the top 5, or whatever the race organizer may be giving away as gifts and prizes for whichever. They may go 5 deep, they may go 6 deep, or they may just go 3 deep. But whatever the case may be, if you want to place well in the race, we have to come together, we have to work together, and we have to chase down that breakaway since they did a good job of actually, moving up or bridging over to members who went for preems. And so right now, we're all just, I'm surviving right now. So I believe I got Dorian behind me, and I'm sitting, on this guy here. Here's where I can't remember seeing his number. So I come over, get close to Dakota, and we still see here, we got Hector sitting on Matthew's wheel as we're going through turn number 3. And so I come over the top, and then I jump, continually staying on Dakota's wheel, and we're just making our way. So right now we see here that, the guy that's up front still pulling, nobody's coming over the top of him. We got Dorian going underneath. So I come underneath to jump on Dorian's wheel because, knowing who these riders are, it works in my favor because I know they have some strengths, and I can, enjoy a ride up, especially since I'm not up to the front and can contribute to, pulling through, specifically being if I was second wheel or anything of that nature. So right now, I'm just really holding on because you see my heart rate's at 172. We're not going too fast. Again, going 23 miles an hour, but the field has really been dwindled down due to the crash that you saw happen a few laps ago. So right now, just trying to stay hunkered in, stay out of the wind, because I've been in the wind a lot in this race. And we see here, we got Elicio of, I believe that he's of Serious Cycling. Elicio, he's done some work. He's falling back right now. So he did a lot of the pulling up that climb. And Matthew was sitting on his wheel, and Hector was sitting on his wheel. And so he had did a lot of work coming up the 3 to 5% climb through the start finish all the way to turn number 1. So he's falling back. I believe he's back there now on Dakota's wheel. And now you see I have a gap opening up in front of me behind Dorian. And so, I'm noticing that I'm starting to let these gaps open up, and I jump on Brandon's wheel because that was the closest thing to me. Dorian goes on the outside, and he pushes it. Matthew looks back to see what's going to happen. So Dorian cuts across the road. Now he's on the inside, chasing down the wheel up the road. You got Matthew looking back. He's kind of sitting up. Everybody's like, nobody's really hunkered down to chase after this. You got Hector up there. I think he's up there. He's out of the saddle, I guess, trying to chase it down, and nobody's really jumping on his wheel. And so right now I'm sitting on Brandon's wheel as we make it up this 3 to 5% climb. I have Dakota behind me. I have Elicio behind him. I believe we got Matthew back there. So right now we've caught up to Hector, and we've come out to the left, and we're still pushing to go up to the turn number 4. And you see here Dorian is barely pedaling. Like, this race was truly a mess. It was something like I've never dealt with before. So 407 is Mark. So Mark had a mechanical as well in this race, probably about 3 laps ago, and I think he got taken care of by VELO Fix, and so he jumped back in the race. And so now I have Elicio on my wheel. Brandon is up front pulling. He pulled over to the left. I could have probably jumped on his wheel, but I was like, you know what? Everybody do their part so we can all make it to the end of this race. So we're currently at 24 minutes in this thing. And again, I said before, this video is 27 minutes long. So as I have Elicio on my wheel, I asked that you guys during this moment. So now, as you notice, they're coming all underneath me and they're going fast. I'm going 25 miles an hour and they're passing me. And this is what where my life changed. So they all come underneath me. I was not able to respond to that because I was just up front pulling, and they all come underneath me. And as you see now, I got Mark behind me, I have Brandon behind me, and there's a gap. So there goes Mark because he's still fresh. And so he bridges over. I couldn't jump on his wheel. I'm hurting. I'm at 175, but I've been in the wind for a good bit of this race. I got Brandon behind me, and you see I'm still close enough. If I could put in a good 20-second dig, I could probably get reconnected to Mark's wheel. But at the same time, again, and even in this race, as I mentioned in the last video, warm-up is essential. And because it was just a little bit cold and it's just starting to warm up in this race, I didn't have it. So I got close to reconnecting with them. As you see here, I'm really close to reconnecting with them. And as close as I am to reconnecting with them, I asked, I got a funny for you, if you would subscribe to the Crit Wit Road Runner family. But please hit that subscribe button. Please check out a lot of the videos. It's just, I'm trying to share the journey of and experiences of life behind bars. And so right now, you see, I could not connect, but I look forward to connecting with you by you subscribing to this family. Once again, dropped. I got Brandon behind me. Brandon's gonna come underneath, or excuse me, Brandon's gonna come over the top of me. I'm gonna jump on his wheel, but ultimately, I couldn't reconnect with the group. So right now, I'm gonna jump on Brandon's wheel, and hopefully he can tote me up to the back of this group up there, up the road, and we get close. You know, we go through turn number 1 right now. We get really close, and as you see now, we're at 26 minutes in this video. But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, I was not able to reconnect and eventually got pulled from this race, and it was not pleasant. And not only did I get pulled from this race, but I also was DNF, so did not finish. And possibly because, you know, as you see now, we're starting to lose that connectivity to that group. You see now Brandon just set up, and I come underneath him, like maybe I can do something, but look, I can't even pass him right now. So I'm no legs, I'm tired. The body is just like, bruh, you should be warmed up now, but for some reason, and I really couldn't explain it in this race. I couldn't explain these past 2 races, the category 4 or 5 race. I couldn't explain this race. I couldn't explain what was going on. This race was just all over the place. And you see now my hands are on my hoods. So I'm pretty much done. So now we're at 27 minutes in this video. And I'm going to just let you guys know this race was a wash. And so as the category 4 or 5 race, I consider that training session number 1. And with the results of this race, I consider it training session number 2. And so, again, I thank you all for taking your time to watch these videos as I progress on to the start finish. Again, I ask, if you don't have a YouTube account, I ask that you would set one up, and please subscribe to the family. Hey guys, this video was a mess. So shortly thereafter, I was pulled again. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. On to the next one with your boy, CW, aka Crit Wit. Peace.